All right guys, so today we're doing a little maintenance on the 2018 Honda Accord. A lot of these are similar in what we're going to do, but we're going to change the oil in the transmission. All you'll need is a few tools, not much. A little pan to catch the oil. We'll need a long funnel, probably a little rag, a Phillips and a flat head screwdriver, and just a few little tools there to undo the bolt. First thing you'll have to do is remove this cover. You just take these screws here, these just turn them and they come right out. Matter of fact, let me show you right quick. You see how that goes? It's just a half a turn. Now there are two in the back that you'll need a Phillips. So we're going to take off this back tube. Now these are more of a screw-on type, as you can see. Take this one off as well. There's only, like I said, two. Right behind there's a little latch. A little latch basically slide it forward and the whole panel comes out. Here's the panel out from under the car. You have 1, 2, 3 up front, 1 on the side. Those are the half turns. 2 in the back with the little squares that go in for the slide ins to latch it in place. I should point out that there's a second little panel here. If you were changing the oil, you would have to remove that to get rid of the oil filter and change it up, so that panel can stay on. Facing the vehicle to the left is your engine oil pan. If you were to change the oil, this would be your bolt. That actually is written on here, engine oil. Now, moving over to the other side, you've got your transmission. There's your drain plug, and drain it. Before you do though, you should make sure you can find the fill hole somewhere up here, and that's where the long funnel comes in handy. Now, when you're looking for the fill hole, this is what you'll look for. You can give it a little couple of twists and then pull up. You want to try not to get dirt in there. Again, looking from the front of the vehicle, come up right through where it gets air, right between this hose and all these cramped spaces. You see the little shiny area that I've already cleaned off. Right there is where you're going to fill it. It's not as hard as it looks, but that's where you want the funnel going into that hole. That's where you're going to fill the transmission. Okay, got it loose. Just remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So you got to turn counterclockwise. And make a mess. Of course, I got the oil recommended by Honda. This is the plug that you'll remove. It does have a little crush washer. You do want to replace it. It's got a little area here that is magnetic. It attracts any kind of debris. That's what this HCF2 transmission fluid, this is what they recommend. Okay guys, once it's drained and you've cleaned the plug, you got the sludge off, replace your crush washer. 18 millimeter crush washer should be replaced. You can sometimes use the one that was on there at least once or twice, but that's up to you. But it is good practice to replace it. And just screw it back in by hand and tighten. And then you'll clean up the excess oil here and replace it with, some of the manuals will say 3.9. Some people recommend 3.7. I'm gonna go somewhere in the middle and go 3.8. So if you get your 4 quarts, you should end up with just under 8 ounces. So you should have like 6 ounces left. I'd rather go just a tiny bit under, because I know that it's not draining completely because of the way I have the car not completely level. Again, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Now, while it was draining, I cleaned the fill plug. You don't want to use anything but just a little wet rag. Took a 732 little socket, loosened that and this, and just kind of moved it over. I squeezed it in between that and those 2 hoses to get it into the hole. There we go. You can see it going in right there. And it should work. Here you can see the 8 ounces, and I'm just below it by just a wee bit. Okay, once you take the funnel out, you do want to make sure that the plug is seated all the way in. You don't want any water or debris contaminants as you drive down the road getting in the transmission. Of course, we cleaned that plug area when we were letting it drain, just making sure that no dirt gets in there. You can see the plug is well seated, and we'll just have to put the panel back on. One thing to note, as you slide it in onto the little squares, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, make sure you also slide it under here, and that way it kind of helps hold it up, and you won't just slide it in, let it fall and break off the tabs in the back. So you slide it in the front, maybe insert one of these, and then you can screw the back bolts or screws, whatever you want to call them. Everything is back where it should be. We'll start the vehicle. I'm gonna cycle through the gears. And you want to do this a couple of times and feel it actually engaging and going in and out of gear. You get the idea. My vehicle, I did not have the maintenance issues yet. It had not asked for it. I did it early. And one way to reset it, just like you do your oil change, you go to settings, go down to vehicle, and then go all the way down to maintenance info. And in this case, I've just got the engine oil and it's at 40%. So we're good as far as that goes. But if it had asked me for the transmission, I could then reset it at that point, select the items that I want to reset. If yours had already said, hey, it's time to maintain your transmission, that's the steps that you would take. And you're good to go. All right, guys, hope this was helpful. Y'all take care. Catch y'all on the next one.